Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations, and this is another layout from a challenge over the Secret Kit Club June party. And this was a team challenge where we started with a layout. These were all of the beginning layouts were from Crafty Jen Scow, and then the first person on our team got the layout and did their take on it, and then passed their layout to the next person. So the second one was from Shiva, and the third one is from Karen. And then I'm going to put Karen's up on the screen there in the corner, and I'm going to build my layout off of hers. Now, we did not get to see any of the layouts other than the one right before ours, so it was a little bit like the telephone challenge from when you were a kid, where you'd say something to the next person and whisper it in their ear, and then they would repeat it to the next person. And at the end, you saw how everything had changed along as it got translated from one person to another. So at the end of all of it, we got to see each other's layouts and see the first layout that was the inspiration piece. And it was a lot of fun, and it's actually, we've had such a good time with it. There are a bunch of us that are going to be doing a YouTube hop in mid-August, I believe, doing kind of the same thing. So there's actually a couple of groups of us that are doing it. So we had so many people that really enjoyed it that we divided up into several teams, and we're doing the same thing. So be on the lookout for that. I will be participating, and like I said, again, it is going to be coming out in mid-August. And so my layout, I am working with this singular photo of myself. I think I was 7 years old, maybe second grade, and the thing that I'm wearing on my head is a crazy hat. So this was actually from Crazy Hat Day at school. We had a little competition at school where we all came with homemade headwear, and I actually won an award for third place in the most beautiful category. My piece, it was kind of like in a crown shape, and I kind of remember it being a soft wire that had like a velvety texture over it. And then my mom and I went through and we attached all kinds of flowers and bows. I say my mom and I, but you know, I was 7 years old, so my mom primarily, with maybe a little bit of help and direction of me picking out things, because she always did let me help do that kind of stuff. But a lot of the actual tying things on and attaching things was done by her. So all kinds of bows and flowers, and then we wore our headwear to school, and we had this little competition and a parade and all kinds of stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. I actually remember this quite vividly. And in the photo, I am holding a camera. I think I took pictures that day. I don't know where any of those pictures are, but this is a picture of me out in front of our house. So I wanted to make sure I got that documented. And then you saw me checking out what color of distress ink I wanted to put on the background there, and I tried a few different stencils. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with. I ended up with these polka dots that are in varying shapes and sizes. And then I think I ended up using worn lipstick, or actually no, I take that back. I'm sorry. I used abandoned coral as the color for those polka dots. And I went over the stencil somewhat lightly because I didn't want everything to be super dark, and abandoned coral is quite vivid and bright, so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to overtake the layout. And I used those life-changing brushes, which are pretty amazing. A lot of times when you have stencils that have a lot of little bits and pieces, they get caught up in the distress applicator. When you're, rubbing it down, they kind of like, they get caught on it and then they lift, and you don't have that problem with these life-changing brushes. You also might not have that problem if you use that, there's like pixie spray, which helps temporarily adhere your stencil to the page. And now I didn't use that because I do have these brushes, and this stencil doesn't have a lot of little loose pieces, it's just circles. So I am creating a shelf much like Karen has in her layout, and I have reversed which side of the layout my photo is going on. So that's pretty much the only difference. And then I'm putting a ton of background pieces, or matting my photo with a lot of pieces, which I don't think she has a lot of mats behind hers, but I always like tons of layers. So I went ahead and, put my own little spin on it. Now I will end up moving everything down much further on the layout because the title is above the photo, and then there's like a banner piece hanging down, and so I do have to move things down, and you'll see that happen along here shortly. I pulled several pieces of this cardstock in like these corally orange colors, and I wasn't sure which one was going to match the best, but I ended up going with this one here. And I'm not sure where this background chevron piece of paper came from. It is from a paper pad, I know that, and I've had it in my stash for quite a while, but it was in a stack of papers and no longer in its pad, so I can't tell you where it came from. Then I'm going to go through my box of gray ephemera and stickers and see what I can find that I think is going to work well on this particular layout. And I don't think I make you sit through all of that because that's a kind of a time-consuming process, but it also does help me cut down on the amount of time that it takes me to actually go and figure out where things are at. If all of it was in its original packaging, I would be going through things much longer than if I just flip through, and look for a few gray pieces that I might want. The journaling on this layout just says, we had crazy hat day at school and I won third place for most beautiful. My mom had a circle form that we attached all kinds of flowers and bows and ribbons to. I was 7 years old and in second grade. I remember being so excited and proud. Thanks, Mom, for always helping and making me feel special. And I play around a little bit with the title and that piece that says love, which I really like, but I don't end up using. This is just a little piece that has some gray text on it, and you can't actually read the text because it's a bit distressed, but I wanted to add a little bit more of a layer in there and bring in the gray to the bottom of the photo. So that piece that says BU is actually going to end up at the top of the layout to mimic what is in Karen's layout. She has a kind of a banner piece hanging down at the top of hers, so I'm going to go ahead and move that up there. And that is when I realized, wow, I'm going to have to move everything down a bit because I need to have room for my title still. And as you can see, I also went through my box of red and I've pulled out some hearts and I've pulled out some different pieces of ephemera circles and stickers and such. That little piece right there says take photos. And I thought that was perfect because I'm holding a camera in my hand, so works out. And then the little round piece says love her. And if you're not a member of the Not Secret Kit Club and you're looking for a club, it is one you should definitely consider and check out. Christina's amazing. She hand curates based on what you like and your budget and the frequency of how you want your kits sent. And then you get to play along in these monthly online scrap parties. And they are just like jam-packed full of challenges, sometimes tutorials. There's some live things that happen throughout them, live scrapbooking, all kinds of good stuff. And this month we actually had team challenges, which was so much fun. It was a lot of fun getting to know some of the ladies that I didn't know so well, and it was fun just being able to work alongside someone else and try some different styles and different techniques and such. So I highly recommend it. Go check it out. You can check it out on her website, Redefined Creative, and that's with creative with a K. And I will put a link down below for you so that you can check that out if you're interested in a kit club. And on a side note, she has also just started a kit club that is it's called the Creative Cuts Club, and that is for cut files. And you can check that out on her website too if you're interested in getting cut files and all kinds of other goodies along with tutorials and stuff like that. So lots of fun. So my title here is just going to be Crazy Hat. I would have probably liked to put Crazy Hat Day, but I did not have the room for day with these large thickers that I'm going to end up using. The thickers that say hat are even larger, and so Crazy Hat worked out, and you get the idea based on the journaling. If you read the journaling, that it was Crazy Hat Day, so didn't need to be redundant, so it worked out fine. Now that little piece that is in the upper left-hand corner of the photo, there's one that says remember this. There is also a tab that has a wood grain print on it, and then the little piece hanging down says always, so it reads remember this always. And I realized when I pulled out my gray thickers that I did not have a T for the for the word hat, and so I had to cut apart a Z and make a T out of that, and it worked out fine. You can't tell unless you're examining the actual letter T to know if it's cut apart. Just by looking at it, you can't tell, and it works. You can do that with foam thickers. You can make letters out of the numbers and all kinds of stuff, and it's really hard to tell that things have been changed if you're good about it. Cut your little lines straight and squish them in together. You'll never know. Now this little piece is just a label that says details, and I put the name of the school and the year and that it was Crazy Hat Day on it. And then I'm going to use my T-square ruler and create some really faint lines down below that heart, and that's where my journaling is going to go. And then I'm also adding, I have this little tiny heart puffy sticker, and I just put that right up between the A and the Z to fill that little gap, and I really like how that looks. Brings the gray over to that big bunch of red. And then I've got my journaling that I'm going to write, and I'm writing that based off of the writing that's on the original photo. So the photo on my layout is not the original. It is a photo I took of the original and then printed on my selfie printer because I didn't want to scrapbook the original. I also wanted to adjust some of the coloring because the original was very yellow. So this kind of whitened things up and corrected the coloring. And then I'm sprinkling a little bit of the gray Heidi Swap Color Shine around, and I've got some little gray pearl flat back pearls that I'm going to sprinkle around as well. And that's going to pretty much do it. So stick around for the close-ups. They're going to be coming up in just a few moments. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe down below. That'd be awesome. And remember to check for the link for the Kit Club if you're interested. It's down below as well. Take care and have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.